Hey race fans, here we are. It's a Sunday afternoon. It's pissing down with rain, and I'm not going to do a rain video because the last one I did, that was just to show it off. That was hectic. But anyway, alright, let's get into it. Anyway, having a beer. Cheers, guys. Just thought I'd run through a setup. There we are, Hidden Valley up in Darwin. It's all about 30 degrees up here, 50% humidity, something like that. But we're going to run through the setup. I've got a setup for this, a qual setup. We're going to go back to defaults, and we'll have a look and see what we can do to make the car go fast. Probably just do a couple of laps. Oh, excuse me. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So for starters, on the first page here, we got our fuel, basically 111 litres. I'm going to piss that off. Don't want weight. And let you know too, at the moment, this is a new mod. We've got the 6.93 cars. I suppose in the release for what's coming up, which will probably be the 7.0 cars, the FVR mod. We'll see what happens when that all comes out, but at the moment I've got a copy of this along with a few other people. We can give you the link. A lot of people in Aussie, Australia are running it. Basically, through Rfactor you can get the link. Probably have to jump onto one of their servers to update the cars, but basically, running on the 6.6. Base model of car, and then once you get onto the server, it gets downloaded and updated. So 6.93, new tyre model, new physics, new everything, and I'll tell you I'm pretty happy with it. But tell you what, you get out on these soft tyres on a on a shit track, and a qual setup, you look at it, 32 laps, you'll get a warm-up lap, and then you'll just wear the crap out of them. That'll be the end of them. But fairly lifelike, to say the least. So if you drive them hard, you're definitely not going to treat them mean, keep them keen, because you won't keep these tyres. Anyway, getting back to it, and you get rid of the fuel. Basically, suspension. Now, what I'm going to do here is generally, to start off with, I like to soften it up a little bit for grip. So I'm just going to take one off the springs, and we're just going to up the ante on the roll bar. Now, everybody should know. Going on, USB's playing up. Everybody knows the springs is how soft and how hard the Newton meters. The more Newton meters, the stiffer the spring's going to be. Probably hear that rain outside. It's pissing down. Here it comes again. So 85 Newton meters. So I've just backed it off one notch, because the softer the springs, the more grip you're going to get generally, but don't want them too soft, because then the car's going to start getting all soft and spongy and laggy. So that's where we come down to the sway bars. Basically, well, I'm going to up the ante, a little bit more Newton meters on the front sway bar. So the front sway bar is carrying the motor. It's got a lot of weight on it, so obviously it's going to have a lot more than the rear sway bar. But wow, go that rain. Anyway, so I'll start with that, and then we'll play with the back to tune the back to get it to sit right. Because then obviously the sway bar, when you play with the front and the rear, then you're going to get the I suppose the movement across the car too, from the back tyre to the front tyre, say from the back left tyre to the front right tyre, or vice versa, because the car's going to roll, and when you're on the front braking, its force is going to be on one of those front wheels, left or right hand of the corner. So that can help with the rear sway bar to help transfer some of that weight. But then the more rear sway bar you're going to put on, it's going to make the car more taily, a little bit looser, because it's going to be more reactive in the rear end. bend. It's not going to be as soft. So the front will help with your steering. It's going to be more reactive, the tighter the sway bar. So anyway, move along. The toe in, toe out, we're not going to play with that at the moment, because I use that for real fine adjustments of the way the car turns in and reacts to the corners. Because basically, you know, toe in on the front and toe out on the rear. So, you know, you can imagine the front and the rear like that. It's like toe in, toe out. Car's going to want to turn a corner. So, yeah, be careful when you're playing with those ones. The caster, I suppose when you got your wheel, it's the amount the wheel sits forward or back slightly. So that'll affect the steering and also the turning, but only a very finite amount. And your lateral here, how much weight you have on the left or right hand side of the car. Look, we're not doing fucking NASCAR, so I'm not going to play with it. Some tracks I have played with it to help with the wear of the tyres. I've put more weight on the say the inside of the car predominantly. These tyres are already down as soft as you can go, because yeah, you want soft for grip. I find that when I start turning them up, you'll start losing a little bit of grip. Will make the car a little bit stiffer, not so much roll in the tyre. You know, from the wheel, the tyre, the wall, the tyre will tend to roll a bit more, but I can't say I can notice it that much. But anyway, softies. That's what we're going to run. Now camber. These cars are at 4.5, I think they go up to 8 or something now. Yep. Look, I'm going to start, because the camber on the front of the car like this is when you're going to, you know, the car tips over, you're going to get that wheel sitting on the road. So the more camber you have, along with the other suspension components, then, you know, the roll on the car, all the rest of it, it's going to make the car grip round the corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump it up 4.5. We're going to go to about 6.5 to start with on the front. Now we'll see how that goes on this track, because with the rear camber, some cars, some tracks, you can go no camber or do a little bit of camber on the back, have heaps of camber on the back. It's going to corner unreal, but then, you know, turning in and turning out of the corners is going to be a little bit of an issue, to accelerate out and brake in, vice versa. So we'll play with that. General rule, if you keep it at about, you know, for starters, at about 50% of what the front is, that's not a bad starting point in my mind. And then you can play with the back to help the car, you know, turn through the corner. Now brake bias, it's only right just a little bit to the front. These cars, apart from the motor, are weighted pretty good, so I'm going to leave it at that. You'll notice a big difference in the brake bias when you put more on the front. The car will stand on its front end. Some tracks that might be good, some tracks that might be bad. You know, when you might want it a little bit, you know, more even for your trail braking through a corner, where you're applying a little bit more brake right to the apex and with the accelerator at the same time. So I'm going to put this down to about 90%, because I like to, with more settings on the wheel here, if I go, especially with the Fanatec wheel, I can go to the brake force, and once because I've got the load cell pedal mod, that's how I like to push it. That gives me 100%, so that's all good. And then we'll play with the brakes and make sure that you can put your foot flat to the floor. You know, like you're pushing through the firewall, bloody make the thing stop, but you don't want it to lock up. So that's basically it for starters. So we'll get out on the track.
Enabled.
40 kilometres an hour. Bloody hell, time for a drink. It's where all the beer goes in this bloody pit. Ah, and you know what we didn't change was the gear ratio. Anyway. Feel the front end was a little bit wobbly. Might bring up the back camber up a little bit more. And usually first gear in here, but not quite like that. Pull into the pits and we'll change the gear ratio. Suspension feels pretty good going over the bumps. Alright, we'll just pull into the pit. Alright, back into the pit. Let's have a look. What we're going to do is go back to general. We're going to go down, I think. We go down to the lowest gear, where are we? 250 or something, so I think it's the next one up. What you want to do is along the straight have your gear ratio so it maxes out generally. Otherwise on other tracks you might have to look at what you're doing in the corners. A little bit more grill tape, but on these cars it can overheat the car, so see how that goes. 15% on the rear wing. We're going to leave that. It goes up to 18, but I find that if you get the car set up right, it's going to go faster down the straight with less rear wing, obviously less downforce. That's it. We'll get back out there. What was it? Change the... Yeah, I'm going to bump up the... Bring it up, I reckon about... So I was taking 50% of starting point, but we're going to bring it up because there's a fair few corners in here and we'll see how that goes. Might even bring this up to about 6.8. Don't worry about that. We'll get out and try that. That should run a lot better now. We'll see if we can do a hot lap.
Data logging enabled.
And there we go. Time for another sip. Bloody hell, 40 kilometres an hour. Painful. That 100-metre mark too, that's the, here we go, it's better. Nice rubber on the road too. Car feels like it's turning better, but that 100-metre mark is braking. There. And it's really turning nicely. Except that little mistake, cold tyres. Try not to ruin the tyres in the first lap. I'll bring that up. Running on softs, so I'll look after them on the first lap. Get a little bit of warmth into them. See what we can do this lap. rusty. Just back off a tiny bit, lay it down. Generally the car's feeling pretty stable. And what are we going to get? It's pretty slow, I'm about a second off my mark. So we're going to do this lap. Bugger all, I don't think I'm going to make the field. Going a bit better, lost a bit there. Missing the apex, but anyway. So, there we go, see, the smoke coming out the back, that grill tape's not doing us any favours, but that's a qual setup. Yeah, let's put her into the wall. So, yeah, well, that's a qual setup. Low fuel, get me around the track, and me time, not too bad, 104.7. So I want to be down in the low 104s for stuff like this. But anyway, I hope that's helped you out. And yeah, I'll probably another vid later. We've got this other mods coming out. But anyway, I hope it's helped. Yeah, like and subscribe. I'll catch you around. So out.